What's going on, guys? This is Damien from The Lookout and welcome to our How to Play Fed Gotenks guide. But before we begin this video, hit that like and subscribe button. We are on the way to 1,500 subs. We have just a couple of days left to hit it. It should be possible. So help us out, share the video, like it. Let's try to reach it by the 26th of November. And finally, this video is brought to you by Card Market, our sponsor. Link is in the description below. A new ad is coming, so this will have to do for now. Now, roll the video. What is our game plan with this deck? The game plan is to survive until turn 4, play the boss monster, and then give it dual attack with our leader. The deck is very hungry, Fed Gotenks hungry, for cards in hand, and it wants you to combo a lot. And unfortunately it doesn't have a lot of Gotenks and Trunks superhero. So yeah, there are some hoops to jump through, but we'll be able to do that. The deck has no Z leader, it has no Z battle cards, it has only a single Union Fusion card, which makes one Goten really bad in this deck, but it has like 2 Unisons, so that's something. Let's start off with the leader. Here is our leader, Fed Gotenks. So first off, it's Sun Goten and Trunks on the Unawakened side. It's not the best, but it's not bad either. He doesn't draw on attacking, which is fine, because if you're going first and if you can always awaken on turn 2, which these new leaders do, then auto draw and attack is bad. If you ask me, it's not so good. Because with this one that allows you to draw when you combo, it's much better because you're not missing out on a draw. Otherwise, you're just missing out on one. So when you use a card to combo with, you draw one card. That's its auto once per turn. The Awakening is expensive. The Awakening is unfortunately expensive. You need to get rid of 2 cards from your hand in order to awaken. You need to have one Sun Goten superhero and one Trunks superhero in your Z energy and or drop, and then you're able to awaken. However, we build a deck in a way that this is always possible, so it's not bad. On the Awakened side, his Gotenks Fusion Hiccup. This one isn't bad. This one is actually decent. When he attacks, he gains plus 5k and he draws 1. This isn't once per turn because there is a way to restand this leader, so you basically draw 2 and you attack for 20 twice. Even when you swing once, 20k, draw 1, that's fine. The second auto, it's cool, but it's very conditional. I know that this is here for like flavor reasons, so I don't know how often you will be swinging at like 8 drops with your leader, but it's there. It's just there as an option. The main thing is activate main battle. This is what you want to do, but it costs you, again, it costs you a lot. It costs you 2 cards from your hand because you need to pay 1 and you need to have Goten and Trunks in your combo area. So 2 very specific cards in your combo area, and then you get to restand something. So that's a bit of an issue, but we can play around it. It's a good leader. It's not a disaster, it's fine. Our big payoff is the boss monster. 8 cost 25k, deflect, triple strike. He removes something. When you Union Fusion, he draws 2 cards. It's good. The problem is that he doesn't restand. And also the problem is that you'll never pay free to play him. So, okay, you will pay once. At least once you'll pay. You'll see the gameplay breakdown, but usually you'll just cheat him out with the different Gotenks. After he's played, he's basically a 25k dual attacker for the rest of the game, as long as you can keep recycling your leader's activate battle to restand him every single turn, and then you're just swinging with the 25k triple strike, like turn after turn after turn. It's not bad. Unfortunately, it's just 25k triple strike. I mean, like, it would have been so much better if it was like 30k or something. Like Shenron's boss monster, which is like 30k, is much easier to get out than this. So like having it be like 30k would have made this deck a lot better. But it's not bad. We have our mini boss, let's call him like that. He's basically a way to cheat out the boss monster. Unfortunately, this is a promo card. It isn't in the main set. So I think that because it's a promo card that it's not going to be illegal for finals in the US. Someone correct me, but I think it's not gonna be illegal. Anyway, this card should have been a part of the main set because it's basically great. It's basically here to cheat out your boss monster. Unfortunately, his second ability to play him isn't Union Fusion, and you are warping stuff. You don't want to warp your Sun Goten and Trunks often. So usually you will just play this once. Trust me, don't warp often because you need to keep recycling them. This is the big payment, this is the big thing that you need to keep in mind when you're trying to cheat out your boss monster with this guy. Also, he doesn't have any form of protection, so you might just end up paying one, warping your key pieces that you need to keep recycling for combos, and then your opponent just counters him. But if your opponent doesn't counter him, once per game, I would never do this more than once per game, but once per game you can cheat out your boss monster, and that's okay. For the main engine, you have Sun Goten and Trunks Tenacious Tag Teams. MVPs of this deck. They are your way to cheat out the free drops in this deck. You can also cheat out certain free drops if you have corresponding Z energy, but you won't be charging a lot of Z energy just because you need to keep recycling things. But these guys, they just grab things from your deck. That's awesome. And the other ones, you cheated them out from hand if you have Z energy. There are ways that you can set up, plays to play like multiples in a turn. But when it comes, to setting up for the rest of the game early on, turns 1, turn 2, these are your MVPs. Let's dive a bit deeper into them. Let's start off with Goten. So what can we cheat in with Goten? Unfortunately, we have only two options. We have the Trunks that has the same effect as Goten, so this is kind of just wasting energy at this point. But we have the other Trunks, which is really, really good. Like, this other Trunks is your main attacker. This guy, he has revenge. He draws a card, he swings for 15k. Then when you combo with a Goten, so that's already 20k, once per battle he gains another 5k. So he's your 1 energy 25k attacker who also draws you a card and has revenge. This is probably the best card in the deck. Like, it's amazing. Now let's look at what Trunks can get us. With Trunks, we have 3 different Goten that we can cheat out. We have a negate, that one is awful. You need to have him on the field to be able to negate, which is bad because he has no protection. You're just using him for Union Fusion because then you get to draw 1 more, so you're drawing 3 cards. Then you have, Tenacious Tag Team. This one is just for removal when you play him. Not the best thing to cheat out, honestly, but the best one is the blocker. Because the blocker has the ability when you combo with Trunks, you restand him. So for 1 energy, he's a 20k attacker who then restands so that he can block. Trunks is great. All of these options are like, you get a negate and you get a blocker and removal if you really need it. Trunks is great because he has more variety in when it comes to options than Goten. But the Trunks that Goten cheats out is probably better than anything else here. So yeah, this is your main engine. We also get 2 Unisons. We're not playing a single one of them in our build, but they're not bad. Like, they're not amazing. They're definitely not amazing, but you can play them for 1 energy and they're 15k Unisons, which is a lot stronger than a lot of other 15k Unisons. Plus they can buff something for 5k. And you can pay, for example, you can pay 1, play Goten, buff something, now he has 3 markers, you swing for 15k, and then you pay 1 later in the same turn, and then you just empower with the Trunks. Trunks comes with 4 markers, does something, and then once again +2, he's on 6 markers now, and you're swinging with him. They are not bad, they're actually pretty good. We're just not using them in our build because I really couldn't find much of a use for them. So yeah, but they're not bad. They're much better then a whole bunch of 1-cost Unisons. The final key piece of the entire deck is this extra card. This is the card that makes your entire deck work. Why? Because you pay 1 as activate main battle to grab 2 cards, 2 free drops, 1 Sangoten and 1 Trunks from your drop and add them back to your hand. The reason why you're doing this is not to fuse. It's not to fuse. It's so that you can keep using your leader's ability. Because your leader needs you to combo with 1 Sangoten and 1 Trunks whenever you want to use his ability. So eventually you will run out of steam. That's why we're playing 4 copies of A Wildfighter is Born. Just so that we can, at some point, when we're stuck, keep refueling our leader. Worst case scenario, you grab 2 pieces that can either grab you other pieces or you can just use them for Union Fusion. There's a lot of variety when it comes to Trunks and Goten cards in this deck, and this card here is a playset. Hidden MVP, you cannot really play the deck unless you have 4 copies of it. Here is the deck that we will be going with. It's not the best, but it's very thematic. So I tried to once again keep it as archetype locked as possible, and I finally came up with a build that I'm happy with. So yeah, link is in the description below. Let's dive into the mulligan. For our mulligan, always look for these 3 cards, always hard mulligan for them. Sangoten and Trunks are your first priority. You need to find them. Wildfighter is Born is great, it can help you later on in turns 3 and 4, but these 2 you absolutely must hard mulligan for these 2. Like for Goten and Trunks, you needed them to get your deck working by turn 2. That's the mulligan. For the gameplay breakdown, we are going over turns 1 to 4. Originally I just put 1 to 3 and then you can take over. But there is a way to maybe win on turn 4, so just wanted to include that one. We will be creating a build that focuses more on getting your boss monsters out, 2 boss monsters, by turn 4. You can alternatively just spam Trunks instead, like that's also fine. But like this is the way that we decided to go because we want to show off the boss monster a bit. We're assuming that you have mulligan for the 3 cards that we have shown you, and of course, like always, that you're going first. Keep in mind that you will need the promo Gotenks to make this deck work. Like, you need promo Gotenks to completely replicate this gameplay, unfortunately. That's it. Let's see what the Fat Flying Boy can do. Turn 1. Start the game. Charge 1 energy, pay 1, activate main of Trunks to look for Goten, play the Goten, Trunks goes into the drop, you draw 1 and then you pass the turn. You can do the same play with the 3-cost Goten that's looking for Trunks to get the revenge Trunks out, but because we have less Trunks cards and the revenge Trunks is so important in this deck, I don't want to risk it getting somehow removed. If you're playing against like red, don't get the Trunks out. Don't start with the Trunks. Otherwise, if you're feeling safe, go with Trunks instead. On your opponent's turn, don't combo and charge Z energy. I think this is the only how to play guide where I'm actually telling you not to charge Z energy on your opponent's turn too. Here is why. Technically, if you combo with the missing one, let's say you combo now with Goten, or you charge him into Z energy, doesn't matter. Whichever combination you go with, you can awaken on turn 2. However, these guys benefit from comboing during battle. So you would just be wasting an activate battle if you combo on your opponent's turn. It's much better to, for example, on your next turn, swing with the free drop Goten and then combo with Trunks to give your Goten 20k. You swing for 20k and then you get to restand as well. It's much better than just to waste a combo so that you can say that, okay, now I have everything that I need to awaken. So opponent's turn 2, just don't combo, don't charge Z energy. Just let them hit you, and that's it. Let's go into turn 2. So charge, pay 1, activate main of your Goten from hand to look for Trunks, play Trunks, draw 1. Then you get to Awaken. Then you draw 1, restand 1, you draw until you have 6 lives left. So what's following then is you attack with your Trunks. You combo with a Goten from hand. That Goten goes into your drop. Your activate battle triggers. Trunks gets plus 10k for the battle, so he's a 25k attacker. Following that, you attack with your Goten. You combo with the Trunks from hand. Activate battle triggers. Goten is a 20k attacker who then restands, goes back into active mode. Then finally, attack with your leader and draw 1. So your leader is 20k, draw 1. You pay 1 energy as activate battle to play a Wild Fighter is Born. You add a free drop Goten and a free drop Trunks from the drop to your hand. You added the 2 that tutor for things. And then you finish the attack, you just end the turn. That's it. That is your turn 2. Turn 3. Okay, now we're getting the boss monster out. Charge an energy, pay 1, activate main to play the Fed Gotenks. So, the Fed Gotenks, yeah. So, you pay 1 to play him, you send 2 cards to the warp, unfortunately. Then you don't even swing with him, he's just 10k, your opponent is awakened by now. So just pay 1 to swap him for the boss monster. The boss monster's auto triggers, you get to remove something, then you attack with the boss monster, that's 25k triple strike. Then you attack with your leader, that's 20k draw 1. And then you finish the turn, you attack with whatever is remaining and you just pass the turn. You leave 1 energy open to defend yourself on the following turn because you want to survive until turn 4. And finally, turn 4. So if you're going this route where you just play a bunch of boss monsters, this is your turn 4. You charge an energy, you pay 3, and then you Union Fusion into another boss monster, you draw 2, you remove something, you attack, pay 1, activate battle of your leader to draw 1 and to restand a boss monster, and then just attack 25k triple strike again. You attack with everything else, you attack with your leader, you attack with whatever you still have left, and then hopefully you win. Let's dive into the summary. The deck is super easy to learn, it's super easy to pilot, but it's not the best deck. It's a great deck for beginners. If you're a beginner, and if you want to try out, a blue Fed Gotenks deck, which is gonna be dirt cheap because this isn't a good deck, it's decent at best, it's a low decent. This is a great deck for you, just to test out the game. The deck is very energy hungry and it's very combo hungry. It eats through resources like crazy because you need specific cards in your hand to combo with. You need to pay energy for everything. It doesn't restand energy as often, so it's very resource hungry. You can play it more defensively by going into more Goten and Trunks lines of play. You're just spamming Goten and Trunks, the blocker and the attacker, on turn 3 instead of going for the boss monster, and then you can just cheat out the boss monster or just hardcast it whenever you think that you're comfortable going for lethal. That's basically the summary. That's it for the video. Let me know in the comments below, will you be playing the Fed Gotenks deck? Will you be giving it a shot? I think that the deck is fun, that it has potential, but we need more cards for it. That's basically it, we just need more stuff for it. It's definitely the weakest out of the set 19 decks, but it has some potential. Anyway, I read all of your comments, I try to respond to everything, I love our little community. Please hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. We are so close to 1,500 subs and we only have a couple of days left to hit it. And then we're gonna have an awesome giveaway. And if you want to read some exclusive articles, the first one coming in a couple of days, link to our Patreon is in the description below. This has been Damien from The Lookout and I'll see all of you in the next video.